All right, folks, I want you to think back to your school days. All those hours spent in classrooms, all those fun tests, all the homework. Now, ask yourself, how much of what you learned do you actually use in your daily life? Yeah, today we're going to explore something that's been bothering me for a while. I'm sure it's been bothering you too. We're going to talk about the massive disconnect between what we learn in public schools and what we actually need to know as adults. And more importantly, we're going to discuss why this disconnect exists and what it means for our society. So, if you dig into where we are today, everyone seems to have something they struggle with. Their taxes, maybe they're drowning in credit card debt, or maybe they're being taken advantage of because they don't understand their insurance policies. I mean, I could keep going through all of these and coming back to the same exact question. Why didn't we learn any of this in school? And think about it. We've spent 12, 13 years in public education, and that's not counting pre-K or college. Yeah, that's over a decade of our lives supposedly being prepared for adulthood, and yet somehow we come out knowing the Pythagorean theorem, but not knowing how to build a budget. I mean, yeah, we can recite Shakespeare, but we can't negotiate a salary. We know all about the mitochondria being the powerhouse of the cell, right? But we don't know the first thing about maintaining our own mental health. Yeah, something doesn't add up. So today we're going to break this down piece by piece, and we're going to look at all the crucial life skills that should be taught in schools but aren't. And more importantly, we're going to discuss why these skills are systematically left out of our current government education system. So first up, financial literacy. And I'm not talking about those one-off assemblies where some bank rep comes in, tells you you need to save money. What I'm talking about is real, practical financial education. Like, how do you build credit? How compounding interest works, both when it's working for you and when it's working against you. Basic investing concepts. I mean, and you know what school taught me about the stock market? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. But hey, I can tell you all about the War of 1812. And speaking of practical skills, let's talk about cooking and nutrition. Because, I mean, sure, yeah, we all remember that fake food pyramid poster in our health class, but did anyone actually teach you how to meal plan or how to grocery shop on a budget or how to cook basic healthy meals? No, but again, thank God we can tell you that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. Because that really comes in handy when we're staring at an empty fridge at 8 p.m. on a Wednesday night. Here's another one that blows my mind. Basic home maintenance. I mean, do you know how much money people waste every year calling in professionals to fix things that they could easily fix themselves? But instead of teaching basic home repair or how to use common tools, we spend weeks learning about different types of clouds. And don't get me wrong, clouds are really cool and all, but I'm pretty sure that knowing how to unclog a drain or reset a circuit breaker would be more immediately useful. And let's talk about something that's actually really important and we definitely need to talk about right now. Family planning, relationships. Like, I'm not just talking about all those awkward sex ed classes that we had to sit through. What I'm talking about is real, practical information on how to build healthy relationships, understanding communication styles, conflict resolution, the stuff that actually matters in real life. But no, we spend more time learning how to square dance in PE. And what about time management? I mean, we spend years in school, but nobody teaches us how to actually manage our time effectively. Instead, we learn how to cram for tests and pull all-nighters, literally the worst habits that we could develop, and then we wonder why everyone's burned out by the time they're 31 years old. Now, let me tell you another thing that drives me really crazy, and that is our complete failure to teach anything about taxes or insurance for that matter. I mean, these things are things that literally everyone has to deal with at some point, but somehow we graduate high school without knowing the first thing about tax brackets, deductions, or how insurance actually works. Instead, we're out here thinking our health insurance deductible is some kind of conspiracy against us because nobody ever explained how risk pooling works. And then some whack job goes and offs a health insurance CEO. And don't even get me started on emotional intelligence and mental health, because right now we're living in probably the most stressful time in human history, but heaven forbid we teach kids how to actually deal with stress or manage their emotions. No, instead, let's make them memorize the names of all the British monarchs, because that'll definitely come in handy during their next anxiety attack. And by the way, here's another thing that's missing, and this is a huge one: entrepreneurship. I mean, we spend all this time preparing kids to be good little robots, good little employees, but what about teaching them how to create something of their own? How about teaching basic business concepts, marketing, innovation? These are real skills that could literally change someone's life. But no, we're just going to go ahead and read more Shakespeare sonnets because that's more important, right? And by the way, speaking of important skills, what about growing food? I mean, if we're talking about essential life skills, being able to grow your own food seems pretty high up there. But instead of teaching basic gardening or food production, we got kids learning what? We're learning the history of the cotton gin. I mean, don't get me wrong. History is super important, but maybe we could balance it out with some practical skills that, I don't know, actually might help people feed themselves. Did you guys see that video of the girl on, I think it was on TikTok, who didn't understand that she could eat the lemons growing on the lemon tree in her backyard and instead was going to the store and buying bags of lemons? Yeah. Oh, and by the way, you know what's really wild? Most schools don't even teach basic first aid anymore. I mean, think about that for a second. We're sending kids out into the world who can recite the quadratic formula, but they don't know what to do if someone's choking or if someone's having an allergic reaction. Make it make sense. And by the way, in the age of social media and constant information, why are we teaching kids about media literacy? Like how to spot fake news, how to verify sources, how to think critically about what we're reading. These seem like pretty essential skills in today's world, but no, apparently it's more important to know how to calculate the area of a rhombus. Look, I could go on all day about this, and we haven't even touched on things like basic legal knowledge, retirement planning, voting, civic engagement, actual survival skills. But here's the bottom line. Our education system isn't broken. It's doing exactly what it was designed to do. And the question in 2024, going into 2025, is this what we actually need? I mean, think about it, guys. If we just took half the time we spend on theoretical knowledge and instead focus on practical life skills, like, what if we actually prepared kids for the real world instead of just preparing them for more school? And no, I can already hear the objections. I'm not saying we should just completely abandon traditional academics. But maybe, just maybe, we could find a better balance, because right now we're churning out graduates who can solve complex equations but can't solve their own problems. And that's not just a failure of education, that's a failure of common sense. So here's what it all comes down to. The problem isn't just that our schools aren't teaching these essential life skills. It's that they're actively choosing not to. And that choice, just like all other choices, has consequences. Real, measurable consequences that affect millions of lives. Think about the ripple effects. Financial illiteracy leads to debt. Poor nutrition leads to health problems. Lack of emotional intelligence leads to broken relationships. Guys, these aren't just individual problems. These are societal problems. And they're very real problems that could be significantly reduced if we just taught people the basic skills from the beginning. But here's the good news. We can change this, because it starts first with awareness, with conversations like the one I'm having right now with the microphone to you. And it continues with action, demanding better from our educational institutions, supporting alternative education models, and taking responsibility for teaching skills to the next generation. So if this episode is resonating with you, I have 3 action items for you today. First, share this episode with someone who needs to hear it. And that could be a parent, that could be a teacher, or anyone who cares about education. Second, start thinking about what skills you wish you learned in school and make a commitment to learn them now, because it's never too late to gain practical knowledge. And finally, number 3, get involved in your local education system. Attend that school board meeting, voice your concerns, push for practical life skills to be included in the curriculum. If you don't want to read Jimmy Learns How to Be a Girl with your kids at night, be the parent and voice your concerns. Because remember, education isn't just about filling our heads with facts, figures, and nonsense, but rather preparing us for real life. And it's time we start treating education that way. All right, folks, that's where we're going to go ahead and put a pin in today's conversation. If you got some value, again, go ahead and give today's episode a share. Also, tag yours truly at @BNicholsLiberty. You can find me on X, on Facebook, and you can go ahead and subscribe to us over on YouTube, Rumble, or whatever it is you consume your favorite video content. Also, The Brian Nichols Show is a podcast, so head to your favorite podcast catcher, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, wherever that may be. Hit that subscribe button, and of course, hit that little notification bell so you don't miss a single time we have a brand new episode airing. With that being said, no week in review this week. Remzo and I decided to take a little bit of a break here and spend some time with friends and family. So hopefully I'll get a few more episodes here out over the next few days. If not, I'll see you next year. But with that being said, Brian Nichols signing off here on The Brian Nichols Show. Talk to you next time.
Thanks for listening to The Brian Nichols Show. Find more episodes at briannicholsshow.com.
Hey folks, I want to take a moment to talk about something that has truly changed my life, and that is Cardio Miracle, our incredible studio sponsor. Now, I'll be honest, when I first heard about Cardio Miracle and their claims about improving heart health, I was skeptical. But after using it for just about 2 months, I was absolutely blown away by the results. First, my blood pressure went from being consistently around 140/90 to a much more healthier and manageable 120/80. And my resting heart rate dropped from the low 70s to the high 50s. And I couldn't believe it. But the benefits didn't stop there. I started sleeping better, and I felt more energized at the gym, and my heart felt the best it's felt in years. And it's not just me. Hundreds of you, our amazing listeners, have reached out to share your own incredible experiences with Cardio Miracle. So, what is Cardio Miracle? And how does it work? It's a carefully crafted supplement that harnesses the power of nitric oxide to support optimal heart function. So, by increasing nitric oxide levels in your blood, Cardio Miracle helps relax your blood vessels, improve circulation, and it protects your heart from damage. It's like giving your heart the support it needs to function at its best. And here's the best part. We've got an exclusive offer just for you, our loyal listeners here at The Brian Nichols Show. When you head over to cardiomiracle.com and use code TBNS at checkout, you'll get an extra 15% discount on your order. Plus, with their 100% money-back guarantee, you've got nothing to lose and everything to gain. So, if you're ready to take control of your heart health and experience the life-changing benefits of Cardio Miracle for yourself, just click the link in the show notes or video description. Trust me, your heart will thank you. And don't wait another day to prioritize your health. Join the tens of thousands of folks who have already discovered the Cardio Miracle difference. Head to cardiomiracle.com now and use code TBNS for 15% off your order. Your journey to a happier and healthier heart starts today. And now, let's get back to the show.